So thank you all for coming again. And our group is Hoosier Landscape Designs, and we're happy to present our ideas for the garden for you today. Next slide. The purpose of this project is to offer access to local foods for students and community members while promoting the overall uses of sustainability. And our goal has been to design a fully functional urban gardening center while applying the concepts of sustainability practices for its everyday use.
These are the food deserts and where they're located in South Bend. If you follow the little arrows here, that's where IUSB is at, and we're kind of in a food desert. So we thought it would be a great way to kind of get out if we bring in this amazing garden and offer what we yield to our community.
Alright, the community. The space can be used as a teaching tool for people in the community, and since we're on a college campus, we want to make the space somewhere that people can come and learn about gardening and be able to glean ideas off of us for what they could do at home. We wanted to add this to school curriculum. I know other countries do this, and I think this is something that we could really get into, and we really want to implement that here. We can sell our food to local farmers markets and co-ops in the area, and we can also donate it. Really, the point of this is we don't want to waste anything. We don't want to waste food. This is also a project that can help you circulate money back within just the local economy. It's not going to be going out to multi-billion-dollar corporations like Walmart and Meijer. This is something that's going to stay here, and it's going to help the community as a whole. Most importantly, with a project like this, something we want everybody to feel welcome and involved in, and it's going to help broaden the community members' horizon, and people will meet new people. It'll forge better relationships and ties in the community. The garden is more than just a project. It's a place where people should feel welcome, and this means that we have to keep faith in our visitors that they will only take as much as they need, because that's also part of not promoting waste within the community. And all these things will add up together and give us the result of benefiting society by instilling faith in these people. And it helps the local economy. It's great for the environment that we're getting back to our roots in gardening, and that we have it'll give us sort of a sense of food security, which I think is really important nowadays. And all of these things together really end up benefiting the people of the community as a whole.
So this is the location, what it looks like right now. And as you can see, there's limestone that is taking up the entire location. It's probably, from personally judging it, it's probably about 6 inches deep right now. So either some excavation would be required or some dirt would need to be brought in. And this is the view of the north end, and there's one tree in this lot left. And this is the last existing garage that is being used currently by the school's gardeners. This was a computer design that we made, basically of our model, and we decided to separate our lots by letter and by specific zone. A was preferably going to be our spice garden and herb area, where we were to have decorative designs and like stone wall designs and whatnot, retaining walls. And D and E, these are in shaded areas, and so perhaps crops that require more shade or cold weather crops could be better suited to survive over here, because on this side is our hill that we would like to incorporate into this project, but as a time constraint, we really couldn't. And the octagon objects that you see are rain barrels, and that is an accurate estimate of how many we could possibly use. We could have them 50-gallon barrels, and we could splice them 2 different directions so that they're essentially feeding all the gardens. Lot C and F are conjoined, and that is our creativity zones, and where we could incorporate the use of the school's art department to decorate everything. We could just do different and fun and creative ways of growing and reusing materials. This is our orchard in these on this far west end, and inside our orchard is a small gazebo that someone can just rest and enjoy the garden. And the orchard could be composed of dwarf trees, and that approximately could be an accurate number of trees located in this area. There's about 12 on this board. And over here we have the black archways, would be entrance points, and how to and it would basically be hanging flower entrances, like morning glories or pink roses could go. And these lighter areas would basically be either hedgerows or mulch flower beds for mulch beds, and just decorative to not scare off the neighbors. And our small little pentagons are our compost areas where we can collect refuse. And this area is, of course, the proposed site for the building, this east end. We had no input on that. However, if we did have any input on the building, we would like to see a sort of plaza that could come out and exit from the building, entering into the garden. Now, these purple pathways that you see would just be visual lines that, not necessarily there, but they would basically be there for a visual perspective and showing you how to get access into the garden, a forking path, basically. And these would essentially be benches and seating areas mixed with flower boxes and container gardens of such behind these benches. So this is what the area looks like according to Google Maps right now. This image is probably about 3 years old, or 3 to 4 years old. And all of these buildings are gone, of course. And that shed right there is the only one that's existing. Now this is our hill, and I know as much as we like to incorporate it into the project, it is a difficult area because there is much needed work that needs to be done. There are a line of trees, as you can tell from this 2D image, that basically will cause problems for everything to grow and could potentially just be in the way, and they just need to be removed if we want to incorporate the hill later for future development. And this is just a side perspective, and the deviation grade of the hill is about 20 feet, and it slopes about 20 feet. But the lowest point of the hill to its highest point, which is this farthest end, which is about 175 feet according to Google Maps. And so that's about the size of the area that we're dealing with. From right about here, this end to this end, on this east side, we're dealing with about 40 feet. And it's just a very steep slope.
As Jeff pointed out earlier, we were hoping to implement some sort of plaza area. We thought it would be best used for students to bring their study materials, a nice quiet place to study. It would include stone benches and stone tables. It'd be located on the east side of the garden nearest the Schurz Library, so that anyone who wanted to study or read outside would have a short distance to walk to reach the area. And these are just a few examples of what that might look like.
And as you can see, we could perhaps have an exit from the building into our plaza as such from the top.
So like Jeff explained, we do have a plot system set up, and in these plot spaces, we've labeled them all for different types of things. In plot A, we would like to see a rock structure containing herbs. In plot B, we would like a container space, or container gardening. In plot D and E, we want mostly yield coming from those. So in plot D, because of the high trees that are there, we want that to be mostly cold crops. And in plot E, we were thinking maybe tomatoes or peppers, pairing things together. And in plot C and F, what we've done is we combined both of those and called it a creativity zone. So this is basically our ideas for what that could look like in a herb garden. And we would like to bring in a lot of different types of herbs and spices to really engage a lot of different types of people to come into the garden from cultures and ethnicities. And in these spots, we would like stands in all of our plots. At the beginning, stands containing nutritional values, recipes, so showing people they can use these things. In our container space, we want people to bring in creative contained items so they can grow in them. So that could also show people that you don't really need a whole lot of space in order to grow something kind of creative and fun. We also thought it would be kind of fun to get some of our local artists or even art majors at our school to come in and paint them so they could look pretty, or build them through pottery. This is our cold crop area. We want mostly like plot just setting up, so it's not too complicated there. And sun crops, pairing things like this together, tomatoes, peppers, beans. Mostly because that point there will get more sun than plot D. And our creativity zone is where we want to bring in students, faculty, and community members into the space and give them the opportunity to showcase their own creative ideas on gardening. So we would like to take some of the key aspects of sustainability of reusing, reducing, and recycling and implement it here. So instead of throwing away a pair of old boots or shoes, we want people to come in and plant in those. Or like laundry bags, they can be used over. And broken chairs or old gutters can be made beautiful and functional all at the same time. In our dwarf orchard, that'll lie just beyond all of our plots, which is here. And we would like to see small trees like cherry trees, apple trees, pear trees grown there. That lady is about the size of what a dwarf tree grows to be about, so we thought maybe we could fit quite a few in that space. For our rain barrels, what we've decided is that we want them at different points in the garden, and we're going to set up PCP pipes or small hoses with pinholes in them so we can do a drip-like irrigation system. The plots that will have to be manually guarded or manually watered, we thought we could set them up on higher stands and then be able to release water into pots or some type of pan so we can manually water them ourselves. We would also like it if we could get the community involved in painting these by possibly bringing in like elementary school kids, high school kids, middle school art departments and things to paint these rain barrels so everybody can have a piece. This is our budget. This is a very rough estimate and doesn't really show exactly how much things will cost, but this is mainly what we think will be needed. But the way that we plan on cutting this cost is by reusing things or getting donations.
There's plenty of wood that can be donated in the sense of railroad ties from the railway, telephone poles from NIPSCO, and basically we can have a lot of things donated to us. And it would be tax credits for these companies if they were to donate.
Alright, this is really the part of our garden idea that we really wanted to showcase. And it's the fact that we don't have to spend hundreds or even thousands of dollars to create a beautiful garden area. We wanted to display a fully functional garden while also promoting all the concepts of sustainability at the same time. We want to include creative, somewhat unconventional ideas, and we want people to be able to walk through our gardens and see stuff like this and go, hey, this is something that I could do at home by myself easily or basically cost-free. Like, we know we enjoy celebrating Super Bowl parties and St. Patty's Day. I'm sure there's an excess of beer bottles from this, something we can easily make. Or if you have children at home and you have old toys that you're probably just going to throw out, you could save that piece of their childhood and put it in your garden. Maybe an old bike that doesn't work, or you have even a mini greenhouse made out of recycled plastic bottles. some other ideas, old chairs that have broken. You can even make your own rain barrel out of a heavy duty trash can. Less than $100, more than, or less than an actual rain barrel would cost you. Old light fixtures that you can reuse. There's so many things you could do. It's such a good idea to reuse it, be sustainable about it.
As far as pest control, we thought it would be best to cover our plants with a mesh or chicken wire in order to keep critters and insects out and using that instead of harmful pesticides. We thought that using the wire would keep the integrity of the plants without having to use poisonous chemicals. And as far as the slope, as Jeff said earlier, it's kind of difficult to decide what we're going to do with that in the future. For the time being, we thought it would be best put to use by using donated wood or other found materials to contain plots with walking paths for anyone interested in looking at the plants they're harvesting.
Thank you for your time, and we look forward to your questions.